Ukraine's use of British Challenger 2 tanks has completely stunned the United Kingdom, as new battlefield footage and intelligence reports reveal Kyiv's unexpected strategy that is changing how modern tank warfare is understood. Hello everyone, welcome back to Ballistic Beacon. Please subscribe and like my videos for more defense updates and frontline analysis. What began as a symbolic show of support from London has now turned into one of the most talked about military strategies of the war. When the UK first delivered 14 Challenger 2 tanks to Ukraine, few believed they could have a major impact, but Ukrainian commanders didn't deploy them in the traditional way. Instead of using the tanks for direct assaults, they redefined their role, entirely transforming the Challengers into precision assets, mobile strongpoints, and psychological weapons against Russian forces. British military observers have described Ukraine's approach as unexpectedly brilliant. Defense analysts in London have confirmed that the Ukrainian military has created an entirely new operational doctrine around these tanks. Rather than leading large armored formations, the Challenger 2s are used as part of small, flexible strike groups that combine drones, anti-tank missiles, and electronic warfare. This allows Ukraine to conserve the tanks while still achieving major battlefield results. The strategy's foundation lies in deception and precision. Using what local commanders call the ghost tank method, Ukrainian forces have learned to hide these massive vehicles from Russian surveillance. They use heat decoys, camouflage nets, and even drone-generated infrared signatures to trick Russian sensors into firing at false targets. Meanwhile, the real Challengers reposition and strike from unexpected angles. This system has repeatedly caught Russian armored units off guard. In several confirmed encounters in Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia, Ukrainian Challenger 2 crews destroyed Russian T-72 and T-90 tanks before the enemy could even detect their position. Analysts attribute this success to a combination of British technology and Ukrainian ingenuity. The Challenger's advanced optics, thermal sights, and rifled 120mm main gun give it unmatched accuracy. Ukrainian crews have used that to devastating effect, often destroying enemy vehicles from several kilometers away. British officials are privately astonished. A senior officer from the UK Ministry of Defence reportedly said, "We taught them how to use the tank, but they've turned it into something far beyond what we imagined." In other words, Ukraine has outperformed even its instructors. But what makes this truly remarkable is how Ukraine has integrated these tanks into its wider digital warfare system. Challenger crews now operate in coordination with drone operators and artillery units, creating a real-time intelligence network that links tank optics with drone reconnaissance feeds. This means the tanks no longer rely solely on their own line of sight. Instead, they are guided by drones hovering miles away, giving them early warning of Russian movement and exact target coordinates. British analysts admit that even NATO has never implemented this level of coordination under real combat conditions. Ukrainian engineers have also modified communication systems within the Challenger to fit their own encrypted drone control network, allowing data sharing directly between the tanks and aerial surveillance units. This integration of Western armor with Eastern battlefield improvisation has shocked Western military circles. It shows how a smaller force can outthink a larger one through technology and adaptation. On the ground, the results are evident. In the Avdiivka region, drone footage confirmed a single Challenger 2 destroying multiple Russian tanks in quick succession before withdrawing under the cover of smoke. Despite several direct hits, the British tanks survived intact, demonstrating the effectiveness of its advanced Chobham armor. This armor, which remains classified, has become a nightmare for Russian gunners. Many of their anti-tank missiles simply fail to penetrate, leaving the Challenger nearly invincible in frontal engagements. Ukrainian mechanics have learned to repair these tanks quickly in improvised forward workshops, reducing downtime and keeping them operational longer than Western protocols would allow. Russia's frustration is growing. Intercepted communications reveal Russian soldiers referring to the Challengers as iron beasts, and warning their comrades to avoid direct clashes. Ukrainian intelligence believes this psychological impact is significant, lowering morale among Russian tank crews and slowing down their offensives. At the same time, Ukraine has introduced a new tactic pairing each Challenger with several FPV drone units. These drones scout for enemy armor, mark targets with invisible infrared beams, and even drop explosives to finish off damaged vehicles. The combination of heavy armor and agile drone support has created a new form of hybrid warfare. British analysts are calling it networked tank warfare, where human skill and machine intelligence work seamlessly together. As a result, London's own military doctrine is now being reviewed. The British Army, which plans to upgrade its Challenger 2 fleet to the Challenger 3 standard, is already incorporating lessons learned from Ukraine. These include improved infrared masking, drone integration, and electronic warfare defenses, all inspired by the Ukrainian battlefield experience. In essence, Ukraine's use of the Challenger has reversed the traditional roles. Instead of NATO teaching Ukraine how to fight, it is Ukraine teaching NATO how to adapt. The impact goes beyond tactics. It is altering strategic thinking across Europe. Analysts at the Royal United Services Institute, RUSI, have stated that Ukraine's deployment of limited Challenger numbers has proven that strategy and intelligence can outmatch numerical superiority. This new model of warfare, based on precision, deception, and speed, is challenging decades of Western tank doctrine. It shows that even with few tanks, victory can be achieved through superior coordination and innovation. British media outlets are echoing this sentiment. The Daily Mail called Ukraine's use of the Challenger a masterclass in adaptation, while defense correspondents from Sky News described it as one of the most creative battlefield strategies of the modern era. The success has also reignited debate in the UK about increasing military aid. Some MP are now calling for additional Challenger units or spare parts to be sent, arguing that Ukraine has proven their value beyond all expectations. But challenges remain. Ukraine still struggles with logistics and spare parts, since the Challenger fleet is small and complex. Britain continues to provide technical support through training bases in Poland and maintenance hubs in Germany. Despite these obstacles, Ukrainian crews remain confident. Some have even suggested adding laser-guided range-finding systems linked with AI-assisted targeting software, a potential next step that could make the Challenger even deadlier. For Russia, this is becoming a nightmare scenario. Their traditional armored tactics, based on mass formations and numerical dominance, are being neutralized by a handful of intelligent, networked tanks. Each Challenger on the battlefield represents not just firepower, but information superiority. Moscow's commanders now face a dilemma: attack and risk losing entire tank columns, or retreat and concede territory. Either way, Ukraine's strategy is eroding Russian confidence and momentum. The psychological, tactical, and technological impact of these tanks far exceeds their small number. What was once seen as a symbolic gesture of support from London has turned into a defining element of Ukraine's armored doctrine. More importantly, it has demonstrated the power of adaptability in warfare. Ukraine has taken one of Britain's most advanced tanks and redefined its purpose, turning it from a weapon of brute force into a tool of precision, deception, and intelligence. British defense circles now acknowledge that Ukraine has not only mastered Western equipment, but has shown the world how to fight a modern, mechanized war under real pressure. In a conflict defined by drones, artillery, and technology, the Challenger 2 has become the embodiment of strategic brilliance. It's not the tank alone that is winning battles, it's how Ukraine is using it. That, according to every major military observer, is pure genius.